You know, there's some things I forgot to tell you guys, and they're really important. Number one, he hates bright lights. We know that. But you got to keep him out of the sunlight. Sunlight will kill him. Number two, keep him away from water. Don't give him any water to drink. And whatever you do, don't give him a bath. And probably the most important thing, don't ever feed him after midnight.
It's not Christmas. Why are we doing Gremlins?
Because it's Gremlins.
No, we're doing Gremlins because we really want to do a Gremlins 2 watch along with our guest today, Kitty.
Hey, guys.
But we wanted to cover Gremlins first.
Well, it just makes sense. You can't do one without the other. Not in this series.
Yeah, we didn't do Friday the 13th Part 2 and 5 and just never cover the first one or the third one or fourth one.
Not in this series.
So do you want to start with your Nick Cage update?
Yeah. Lay it on me.
No, this is a good one. I run out of negative things to give you.
All right. Tell me what you got.
I took his top 10 reviewed movies from Rotten Tomatoes. Live action. I took out the animated ones. Because I think number 2 was the Spider-Man movie.
Oh.
Yeah. Which he's great in.
Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah. Yes, and he was great in it. But I just took the live one. So I wanted to read you the top 10 to see if you agree with this. Number 10, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Of course.
Which you call the awesomeness of being Nicolas Cage.
Well,
Yeah,
same
something.
thing.
Number 9, I finally got it on a list. Peggy Sue Got Married.
Yay.
Number 8, Raising Arizona. Number 7, Mandy. Number 6.
I'm nodding along.
Number 6, yes, audio. Number 6, Leaving Las Vegas, which we both agree is. Number 5, Adaptation, which I've never seen.
I have not either.
Number 4, Moonstruck. Number 3,
4.
Face Off.
Face.
It's his third best reviewed movie of all time, Face Off. Number 2, Red Rock West. What is this movie and why does it keep
these
coming
are the
up?
best reviewed movies?
Of all time.
I thought you were just naming Nicolas Cage movies I like.
No, these are the top 10 reviewed movies by Rotten Tomato score of all time.
Weren't you supposed to do an intro?
That was I did. What do you think you listened to?
Yeah, but
With the Gremlins
welcome
thing.
to Scare Value.
Oh, yeah, this is Scare Value.
Yeah, I popped in and said, why are we doing Gremlins?
Okay.
That was the intro. Number
I'm
1.
siding with her early. I don't want to get yelled at later.
Number 1,
You won't.
Pig.
I've seen
We
half
really
of
got to
that
watch
movie.
Pig.
I've seen half of it. It was good.
What is Red Rock West?
It is, I'm going to guess, a Western.
I don't know. I've just never heard of it. It keeps popping up on these lists all of a sudden.
But because it's red, it's somehow Japan is involved.
I only did this so I could finally get Peggy Sue Got Married on a list.
Oh, that is fair. It's been a while.
I love Peggy Sue Got Married, and it just never ends up on one of his top 10 lists. And I finally found one it was on. Okay, new Nick Cage update. Before we sat down, we were waiting to record. I saw a trailer came out for his next movie called something.
Ooh, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's something about dreams, because the plot of it is, Pete, I think it's a movie made specifically for you. Nicolas Cage plays a guy who suddenly starts appearing in millions of people's dreams.
You wish that would happen.
Wait, it's not for the rest of you fellas?
I didn't wait to look. Did you write this script?
Maybe.
This seems like a passion project for you.
It could have been if I had any ability to write.
Okay, Gremlins.
Gremlins.
We all watched it last night.
Yes.
Some of us trying at the same time as the other.
Well, look, how dare you use your account?
Especially that early in the evening when you know we have early bedtime.
I figured I was going to get it done before
Okay.
you started. I was only 5 minutes away from being correct. I got kicked off the thing, 5 minutes left. I did write down a bunch of stuff that I can zip through real quick that's just covering the movie. I know you guys won't let me do it, but we're going to try it anyway. Gremlins was released on June 8th, 1984, same day as Ghostbusters.
When I was 2.
We were 5. No, you were 2 days away from being 5. You could have gone for your birthday, your 5th birthday, and seen Ghostbusters and Gremlins.
Ooh.
I didn't do either of those things.
That's true. It was directed by Joe Dante, who had directed Piranha and The Howling.
He did a bunch of other stuff, too, that I liked.
He also directed Piranha and The Howling.
But there were other ones, too. I didn't write any of
Gremlins
them
2.
down. Yeah, I know.
You're really getting through this.
Written by Chris Columbus, who directed Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, and the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
I knew those.
He also wrote The Goonies.
Oh,
I know. They're not all great. Music by Jerry Goldsmith, who won an Oscar for The Omen before this. And it was executive produced by Amblin Entertainment. That's Steven Spielberg, director of Jurassic Park, Jaws, Indiana Jones. Frank Marshall, who produced Poltergeist, which I know that'll excite you. And Kathleen Kennedy, best known for ruining Star Wars.
that's why this movie is so good. It's got the smackerel of Poltergeist in it.
Is that why? It does a little bit.
I know.
This is like the good version of that. That Spielberg sheen that's one step away from Spielberg, because he didn't direct it. So it's It stars Zach Galligan as Billy Peltzer, Hoyt Axton as his father Rand, and Phoebe Cates as his love interest Kate. Supporting casts include Judge Reinhold, who just disappears in the movie.
Judge Reinhold.
Yep. Corey Feldman as Pete.
Yeah.
And so there was a dog named Pete in Monster Squad, and there's a child named Pete in this.
Pete's a popular name. There's
And
always a Pete around.
Jonathan Banks is the deputy.
I was going to say.
And Dick Miller, who starred in every single Joe Dante movie.
He was the guy who hated foreigners.
Murray Futterman.
Yes, the guy who hated foreigners so very, very much.
I was really sad when he died.
He did not die. He's in the second one. 'Cause
Spoiler
Oh, it looked
alert
like he
for
died.
Kitty. She thought he died.
I thought so too when I watched almost
When
every
you
time
first
I watched
watched it, and I hadn't seen it since I was little, so.
And I knew in the second one he comes back, so I knew he didn't. But there's a throwaway line in here that the Futtermans are the ones that called the police.
So I didn't
after
catch
that,
it. I was listening for it.
Gizmo was voiced by Howie Mandel, noted hypochondriac. And Stripe was voiced by Frank Welker, who voices Scooby-Doo and Fred Jones in the Scooby-Doo show.
Yep.
And there were 2 Best Boys.
I know.
Oh, no, don't ruin that. You
think
ruined it.
You don't think I have Best Boys written down?
You haven't
Yeah.
been doing it lately.
I
We'll get to Best Boys later then. All right. What are
Now
your
it's ruined.
memories? Because Kitty didn't watch this since she was a kid.
So lay it on
Until-
us, Kitty. What do you remember about Gremlins from when you were 2 years old?
I didn't watch it then. I remember Phoebe Cates. I remember the Gremlins liking the popcorn and like throwing it everywhere. Honestly, I don't remember a lot. I remember being scared.
That's what you told
Yeah.
me going into this.
I was really scared.
And
of
at the
Gremlins.
beginning, somewhere at the beginning of the movie, you said, "Are people going to die in this one?"
because I didn't remember.
And I believe you followed that up with, "I don't want to be scared."
Yes. Well, I never want to be scared. And then almost immediately after, I don't think it was right at the beginning. It was like the professor was like looking for the one gremlin. So then immediately after I asked that question,
Do you think professors work at high schools?
they could. There is, there's a professor or a doctor that is the principal
I
of
learned
Fred's middle school.
That actor auditioned for Star Wars and later found out it was for Han Solo. And George Lucas considered casting him as Han Solo, but thought that the interracial relationship was not something that the world was ready for.
Yeah.
Is that true, or is George Lucas trying to give himself credit for things many years past the part? I don't know the answer.
Well,
to that.
George Lucas was fine with a brother kissing his sister. So
Open mouth kiss.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
So I'm not
incest
sure.
is accepted now, right?
Now, they didn't know they were brother and sister, so this would be like Pete making out with one of his many family members he doesn't know, and they pop up every 20 years.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's why are we doing this?
Hey, you had a real Luke situation.
I'm trying to remember what I remembered. Spike.
I'm trying
from
to
that
drink
movie.
Again,
bleach from
Gizmo,
my
of
brain.
course.
Before and now during the podcast, you've both referred to him as Spike. His name is Stripe.
Oh, we call him Spike.
Yeah.
He's
From
Spike
Buffy.
now. Canon.
Yes, James Marsters plays him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Frank Welker.
No.
No.
I don't know where you get your information from, but that's an apology for another day.
Wikipedia.
That's where I get my information
That's where I got
from.
everything from.
Hey, you know what I learned from Wikipedia? Dog the Bounty Hunter once bailed Nick Cage out of jail.
Well, you know what I got from Wikipedia?
What?
That the actor that played the professor auditioned for Star Wars and later found out it was maybe for Han Solo, but George Lucas was unsure if he wanted to push the interracial relationship.
What did you learn, Kitty?
From Wikipedia?
Yeah,
Lots
or in
of
general.
things. I do have something in general, but I can't remember. What's the site where they have all the weird...
Pornhub.
No. But yes.
It's got weird stuff on there.
I'm not usually there. What's the site where they have all the weird terms for things? Like a snowplow and...
Oh, Urban Dictionary. is what
Urban
you're thinking
Dictionary.
of, right?
Yes. I found out what cheese tits are.
Well, don't leave us hanging like those cheese.
I'm going to guess it has something to do with Wisconsin.
Actually, no. It's frequently when women lose weight, there's a lot of loose extra skin, and it looks like there's some curdling happening. So it's related to cottage cheese, and that's why they call them cheese tits. I was looking because, I was talking to Tex, and we were sending each other boob pics as we do, and I found one where people had slapped Kraft singles on their boobs, and I didn't know if it was a thing.
I remember people were throwing Kraft singles at babies for a minute. That was a thing that happened on the internet that I was aware of.
You're regretting.
No, I'm
Yes.
just amazed that, like, I feel like we're the ones that always take it off topic, and then you get mad at us for going off topic, and we are into a whole new world of cheese tits.
You asked me what I've learned.
I didn't ask you that. He asked you
Okay,
that.
well, it's really him that went off topic.
That's true.
Back to Gremlins.
I was just trying to think if I've ever gone as off topic as cheese tits before. I'm sure we have. Pete, what's your memory of seeing Gremlins when you were younger?
I remember loving how Stripe melts. The ending
Spike.
scene when Spike melts and he becomes Stripe for a hot minute before he. Ooh, that's a hot minute I've used 2 times in
A hot
this
minute?
podcast.
That's what she said.
Oh boy, we're getting good. I like it. But that's what I remember. It's him melting at the end, just stuck out, and Gizmo riding around in the convertible, the little RC car, 'cause that is kid bait, right? Like
That's true.
it's made for children.
This was one of 2 movies, along with Temple of Doom, that basically caused the MPAA to create PG-13.
Yeah, I don't remember the story. So, do you know it, Kitty?
Steven Spielberg suggested to them that they create a middle
what?
ground because it was too scary for kids. They thought it was too scary for kids, little kiddies. They're scared by Gremlins.
kitties.
And it is a little more intense than a PG should be. Although I think it, now by modern standards, it isn't, but I could get
No.
1984. It's just like Temple of Doom. There's a heart ripped out and stuff. So Spielberg said, why don't you just create something in between that lets parents know you should be a little older kid. And this was one of the 2 movies that kind of pushed them in the direction of saying, all right, we're going to create a PG-13.
What I did like about it, and probably it's kiddie friendly because of this, is you didn't see a lot of, like, now almost every movie, even if it's PG-13, you see like gore.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of like people bleeding all over the place, and you see their faces while they're screaming. And like this one, I don't know, there wasn't anything.
We
The
watched
guy had
Stripe dissolve, and his skull dissolves, and he turns into goop. And we
I
watched
said
the.
people.
Oh, right. Gremlin is okay though.
Gremlin's fine.
Racist. Speciest.
There you go.
Movie takes place in Kingston Falls. I wrote down Kingston Falls.
I appreciate that we all turn to you and go, all right, what are we
I know
talking about?
that people can't see that, but
All the heads swivel, like, or the raptors in Jurassic Park.
Kingston Falls, beautiful town.
Yes.
That is small town USA, definitely a Christmas movie. It opens with Christmas songs. Well, it
100%.
opens in Chinatown, but the credits are over Christmas songs. And did you notice that there's a Wizard of Oz storyline just right out in the open of this movie? The evil woman who's going to get the little dog.
I did
Oh.
not catch that.
I
Not
couldn't
even a
unsee
little
it.
bit.
I don't know how I never noticed it before. It is
Yeah.
the same exact thing.
You're smart.
Thank you.
100%. Jumping, you said Chinatown. That is what I remember as a kid, and I think that made me think that's what all Chinatowns are supposed to be. So anytime I went to the Chinatown in a new city, I was kind
Yeah.
of
You
disappointed.
were looking for a store.
I was
in
looking
some
for a
weird
store
basement
that sold the Gremlins.
that
I wanted
sold
me
a little bit
Gizmo.
of everything.
Yeah, one thing about it's not a gremlin, it's a Mogwai. It becomes a gremlin after it eats after
Hey,
midnight.
Did Furbies rip them off?
Probably. I think a lot of things ripped off the gremlins.
Well, I mean, it looked like a goddamn Mogwai.
The Mogwai, nobody in this movie reacts to this thing the way a normal person would react to seeing something that is utterly impossible.
Yeah.
A brand new species. I have
Yes.
it pointing at my notes because I wrote
You're
it
pointing
down.
at your dick.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
That's where I write things down.
It's a brand new species.
It's a species.
See, the problem is I have to keep watching Pornhub to keep the space needed to write what I need all my notes for Gremlins.
When the father does it, I'm like, that's weird. When Billy does it, that's weird. It's when Corey Feldman walks in and he's like, what's this? Like when he plays, like, it's cool. And I'm like, no.
The police?
It has human hands. It has human legs. It speaks.
What do they think it is?
Don't know.
The utter lack of curiosity by the people in this town.
It's amazing. They're all fine with it.
Well, it is a small town. So.
I never questioned it as a kid.
I didn't either. I didn't question it until I was 44 years old and I watched it last night. I feel like
Same.
if somebody showed me that, I would at least have a question. I'd probably beat it with a stick.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd throw it across the room.
So the rules.
He just like jerked his head back.
I'd feed it after midnight.
Yeah.
know you would.
Well, that's the thing. The rules are don't feed it after midnight, don't get it wet, don't expose it to light, especially sunlight. They break 2 of these rules in the first night.
Yes.
So good job, guys. Good job, Peltzer.
The timeline of that movie is very quick. Also, did you notice the complete lack of accountability? No one seemed to feel bad that they had caused the
Oh, no,
deaths of
nobody.
all the
It never
people.
comes up.
They're like, I think the father half-heartedly is like, well, I'm real sorry I tried, but
If you trace it back to whose fault it is Corey Feldman's fault. He's the one who drops water on the gremlin in the first place, on Mogwai in the first place.
I think it's that little kid who sold the Mogwai in the first place.
Here's a question. is Billy Peltzer's relationship with Corey Feldman above board in this movie? Because there's a big age gap, and it seems to be his only friend.
It was weird.
Yes, he's clearly 20.
At least,
Yeah.
right?
And that
I
kid-
think he's older.
Knowing Corey Feldman's history and everything that happened.
Is this a Michael Jackson story?
Well, no. The scene where Zach Galifianakis takes his shirt off there in the room with Corey Feldman when he invites him up because I think he had the blender hadn't gone wrong making the orange juice.
I don't know what you're talking about. Zach Galligan?
It's not
Okay.
Zach Galligan. Okay. Yeah, I know. I was going
Oh,
to
I
point
see
it
what
out.
I did there.
Yeah, you did. But yeah.
That was a young Zach Galifianakis in this movie. He looks a lot different now that he's aged.
Yep.
But he was in that scene.
It's a new species.
He took his shirt off, and it was weird to have him there with Corey Feldman.
Yes.
With to your point with this, it was. I sat there.
He never buttoned his shirt either.
I didn't notice that. I guess I just shut down and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is acceptable."
One of my favorite things. For some reason, his father is the narrator of this story, despite not being around for almost the entire story.
That bugged me.
Yeah, it's a
I was like,
howling.
how does he even know this story?
It's a silver bullet situation. Exactly. Why are you narrating this movie?
Hmm.
You're not. His father's a bad inventor who just comes home with all these gadgets. And I thought, he's terrible at his job, but it kind of would be cool if your dad was always just bringing home things like that, or if he came home at all.
But the father seems pretty depressed.
No, he's
Like, he's
optimistic about his
covering it.
nonsense.
No, I
He
think
seems
he's
to hover. I'll agree with you.
Yeah,
there, Kitty.
he's just
he
like-
switches back and forth between but he bounces back quick. One big setback happened, then he's bounced back.
But that's just
He's
covering
always on
it. It's
hustle.
those people who are depressed that always look like they're not depressed. He's just covering it up.
But because he's our narrator, I understand now his lack of accountability at the end because he wasn't there for anything that happened. He just came back and saw this town kind of destroyed. It's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't intellectually understand that this was his fault.
So he's an unreliable narrator. So maybe none of this happened because he's not there for any of it.
His story, as near as I can remember.
Maybe the Asian guy got him high on something and he just passed out.
No, I think
And he should wake up in that store.
Maybe
Is it two separate movies we have going on here?
this is a Jacob's Ladder scenario.
It could very well be, because his story is he brought this thing home for his kid, gave it to him, then he went out on the road, and he sold stuff to guys at gas stations. He was on that convention that he went to, which I love the updates, just randomly throughout the movie.
Did you notice in that convention when he calls home, there's a model of the time machine from 1960s, the time machine, and then when it cuts back, it's gone. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I did notice that. The background stuff had a lot going on.
yeah, there was a lot.
That was funny. Barney is the dog, played by a dog named Mushroom.
I
I
have
love
that
that.
note
It was
too.
so cute. I want to name a dog Mushroom.
Why did they change the name? Mushroom's a better name than Barney.
Yes.
What's her face? What was
100%.
the name of the Wicked Witch of the West?
Oh,
can't
Athelba or something like that.
No, not the real one.
No,
the
in
one
the
this
movie, in Gremlins.
Oh,
Well, there
it's
is the real one, but
and
Mrs.
Alex is-
Deagle.
Deagle?
Deagle.
Deagle, okay.
oh yeah, because Stripe, is that correct? Kept saying Deagle.
Yep.
He also said Billy.
Billy.
Gizmo.
These are all really good Gremlins.
Frank Welker's here.
I'm legitimately scared.
Yeah. The gremlin design is incredible. And now we're almost 40 years past it, 39 years past it. It looks incredible.
I love when they're all running down the street.
It was the best. I agree. It was the best. It was the best.
I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Ripping
Yeah.
through the screen is fantastic for me.
Yes.
Anytime the
I-
sorry, Kitty.
I think one of my favorite parts is when he messes with Deagle's chair. And
Yes.
she gets launched out. And the cops are just like, huh. That's old lady Deagle.
The over-the-top violence that the Gremlins bring.
Comedic violence.
Comedic violence, of course.
It's
Well, when the professor there at the high school died, that was not very funny.
It's true.
No.
I mean, I laughed a little, but good for the Gremlins.
Well, there was a degree of payback in it because he had that needle sticking out of his butt
Oh, yeah.
after he had
that
drawn blood.
clearly was
Yeah,
vengeance.
It was vengeance.
So they remember what life was like before they turned into gremlins.
I never considered before the metamorphosis.
Yeah. So those cocoons are great too. It's good
Yeah,
effects
it's
work.
weird,
They're creepy. They look like
creepy.
alien, obviously, and it works.
It still works.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Gremlins, just the facial movements on them are
Yeah, they look great.
so frightening.
Yeah. When they get close up with them, that's when it shouldn't work, and it's when it works the best.
That's where CGI
Although,
fails.
except for running down the street, because that was hilarious. I don't know how they did it. I'm not sure they remember how they did it because
I
it looks
have a
so silly, but it's great. But it's
Bunch
supposed
of
to.
puppets, I assume, in the front, and then in the background, just like people.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty amazing. So Judge Reinhold is in this movie briefly. He was previously with Phoebe Cates in the most famous scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Well, he's whacking off in the bathroom when imagine her getting out of the pool and taking her top off. Nothing happens to him in this movie. He's clearly a bad guy. He gets no repercussions. You see him in 2 brief, tiny scenes in the middle of the movie, but he does no payoff. It's very strange.
Well, we can hope he dies, and then that's the one with the
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 junior
banker?
assistant banker.
He's the guy that, in case you didn't get, he's pretentious. He literally orders James Bond's drink at that local bar. He orders a martini shaken, not stirred.
Yes.
I thought it was really good
didn't
writing,
catch
actually,
that.
to be like, I know everything I need to know about this guy. Stripe, before he's turned into a gremlin, when he's still a Mogwai, bites Pete. And it made me think, he bought this unique animal no one's ever seen before, never asked about diseases, never asked about shots he might want to get. So I'm going to assume, because I didn't think about this, Pete also just disappears in the movie. I'm going to assume that like he died of of some kind of a poison that was put into him.
See, I think he lives because they have that shot of him with his, cutting the one gremlin down from the lights and everything, and
Oh, that's true.
using
when-
his slingshot to knock him off the roof.
But it does a lot of silver bullet things. It introduces all these characters, and then like they really don't do anything with them.
No.
It's weird. They do get back to the Futtermans though, so that you can see that he's kind of abusive to his wife, and she's just rolling with it.
She doesn't give a shit.
He's like, I think he's about ready to get up and punch her in the face over the TV, and she's like, "You're sitting on it," and she's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, I don't know, get out of this house, man.
I like when the TV comes back into reception.
Yeah.
And it's a foreign language film with subtitles, and he just stares at it and mutters, "Foreigners."
They got him. Yeah.
They always get him.
The mom goes all John Wick in the kitchen.
She
Takes out- she's
killed the
incredible.
majority of the initial gremlins.
She's
and I loved
incredible.
it.
Kitty. So when I was watching it with Kitty last night, she after she had killed most of them, that's what Kitty said. So she killed the majority of the gremlins. We just got the one left, right? Right before they fell into the pool at the
Yeah.
line. So
Yeah.
what did you think? Like, was that like a shock to you? Was it fun? Because you had just thought, oh, there's no more gremlins
Oh
left.
no, I remembered
Oh, you
the movie
remembered?
enough to know
all
there's
right.
It's not like I've never watched it before.
Why didn't you list that in the list of memories of the movie at the beginning of this podcast?
I don't know what I'm going to remember at any given time.
I understand that's how mine works.
Pete, are you ready to play the Mrs. Kittner game with the movie Gremlins?
Oh, am I ever? How old is that guy who played the father? That's what I was trying to think. I'm going to guess. I know how these movies work.
Wait, what's the Mrs. Kittner game?
You don't listen to our podcast?
Why would she?
Yeah, I do, but it's usually on the background.
In the movie Jaws, Mrs. Kittner, the woman that plays Mrs. Kittner,
Oh,
is about 46
how
years
old is
old,
she?
but she looks like she's 70.
Yeah.
So this happened again in Reanimator. The 75-year-old looking doctor was 48 years old. So it's very hard to place the ages of actors in older movies.
In the 80s.
In the 70s and 80s especially. So Pete,
It's a weird time for TV.
how old was Hoyt Axton when he played Rand in Gremlins?
The father. You want to guess, Kitty? Because I got to guess.
50.
My instinct is to go with 30 because I know how these games work. I'm going to go with, because I was thinking about it last night, between 30 and 45.
He is 45 years old.
Boom.
Oh, I wasn't that far off.
He
Nailed
is
it.
less than 1 year away from being our age.
Nail it.
How old is Mrs. Futterman?
87.
Mrs. Futterman. I'm going to say 40.
She was 47 years old.
I
How
win.
old was Mrs. Deagle?
1,000.
50. No, she's younger. I know she's younger.
Oh, you've caught the theme.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about it. Well, yeah, I have caught the theme, but I was thinking just how her face looks. She's going to be younger. She's going to be in her 40s.
Pete, your guess is 1,000?
Yeah, because it's right.
46 years old.
I'm Mrs. Kittner.
I'm better at this than you.
How old is Billy's mother?
Billy's mother.
How old is Billy's mother in this movie?
35.
35.
Her husband's 45.
That's true.
I'm going to go with between 30 and 60.
She was the big 4-0. 4 years younger than us.
Yeah.
That's why she could kill those gremlins and I can't get out of the car.
That was such a fun scene.
She
that
blenders
Yeah,
one,
microwave. The
microwaves one, she stabs one.
And when she does, she's like, "Get out of my kitchen!" And I'm like, "If he's dead, he can't get out of your kitchen." That was my first thought.
And Dick Miller was 55 in this movie, even though he looks like he's 70.
Oh, Dick Miller was
But he's
Mr. Futterman.
Mr. Futterman was 55.
Okay.
So it held true in this movie. A lot of Mrs. Kittners in Kingston Falls.
It's a weird thing.
Don't drink
about
the water.
Movies of that era. It might have been.
Oh, I didn't write this down. Corey Feldman was 72.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it's because then people weren't dyeing their hair and getting procedures done all the time.
Yeah, but I don't get procedures done. I don't dye my hair. I don't look as old as Hoyt Axton does in this movie, and he's 8 months older than me.
Oh, you don't think you?
No, I know I don't.
I wish
He does.
I'm just not. I wish I had that kind of confidence. People are like, oh, you look old. I'm like, yeah. Well, what are you going to do? I hurt my back, and I think the only thing I did was be old.
How are your pussy and crack doing?
I don't remember.
They're not
any.
good. He needs to go back to the doctor for that.
Yeah.
I always need to go back to the doctor.
The best scene in this movie is definitely the completely out of place moment when Kate tells the story of her father dying on Christmas.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
It's-
I'm like, you guys are all about to die.
I don't know why it's in there. It's not the first time she's morbid and weird.
No, that's established early
Yes.
on because she talks, oh, my family doesn't celebrate Christmas.
That's her character trait. Not just that. It's when she's like, yeah, when other people are opening presents, some people are opening their wrists
Yes.
as they're walking down a picturesque Christmas street.
Well, that's why, Billy's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
That's when Billy's like, I got to ask her out.
Yeah.
Which he did, I think, the very
he
next
did.
scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that he would bring his dog. Like, there's so many things that were, I guess, specific to the 80s. Bringing your dog to the bank and having it sit underneath there.
That wasn't allowed then either.
Well, I remember it in a lot of. Well, I was watching Benji, so Benji was allowed to go wherever he wanted.
He was,
Well,
he was
and-
hunted once.
And speaking of extraneous characters, where was her mother?
Okay, we have to explain to me what extraneous means because I don't know words.
Like extra characters that
Oh.
didn't really need a story that were there.
Oh, her mother?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Not relevant to the plot. That is where she was.
Yeah, but
mean,
there were
even
a lot of people that weren't relevant to the plot.
Yeah, even characters that aren't relevant to the plot are all over this movie, and then we just don't see them again. I was surprised we
Yeah.
got back to the Futtermans, to be honest with you.
Futtermans.
Movie theater, watching Snow White. Gremlins love the movies. We learned that in 2 also.
Yep. I like I don't want to spoil too much. Oh, you've seen 2 enough. But when they pay back the Phoebe Cates story, they play it for a punchline in part 2.
It's
Don't remember that.
Oh,
It's the thing that taught me what comedy really was.
Was
Was
that
the
line?
second time they did it.
Okay.
Billy commits genocide at the movie theater.
He does.
There's no other way to put it.
I am sorry that I called you a species, Kitty, because that is the bar.
Well, he is his mother's son. He's just murdering gremlins everywhere. The 2 most adept gremlin murderers in the world. They're very lucky that they both live in that town.
Again, a brand new species, heretofore unseen by anyone else, and they murdered every one of them.
Yes.
Hitherto.
That's right.
What was it? Oh, the bar scene was great. And the gremlins playing cards. And then there is a female gremlin. And that's in Gremlins too. But there's only one female gremlin.
I think that one was cross-dressing.
I think it was
Well,
cross-dressing.
that
obvious.
was my take on it.
Well, in this one too. But like,
No. In
and like
Gremlins 2, it is a female gremlin. I'm thinking this one, it was a male gremlin who was dressed as
cross-dressing.
yeah.
But it was just interesting to me. I'm like, why?
Flasher gremlin.
Yeah, but the gremlins shouldn't even actually have, like, they shouldn't be gendered, right?
Oh, this is a hot button topic that I don't think we're going to get into on this show.
Okay.
You don't need to know that.
How a gremlin identifies is their own choice to me.
No. Well,
Seems to
yeah,
be
no,
by
that
what
is
they
their own
ate.
choice, but it is by observation then, right? Because they reproduce by getting water splashed on them.
Right, everything
and then
they do is a
shooting weird
parody
eggs out.
of us.
Yeah.
There was the Flashdance gremlin. There
Yes.
was they just suck in pop culture and
Mm-hmm.
then laughingly parody it while they murder everyone in town.
And laugh and laugh and laugh. They're
Yes.
great characters.
Did you guys listen to the very end of the movie? There's a pre-Marvel ending to it, and it's the gremlins laughing.
Nice. One thing about that bar scene, because it is one of the best scenes in the movie, Kate's trying to serve them.
I know.
I've laughed at that since I was a child. Like, they're not going to pay you.
Well, no, but like she also doesn't want to die because there's 85,000 gremlins in her
I get
bar.
it.
No, Kitty's right.
No, I get
Yeah.
it, but it's
Her
just funny watching her
is
trying
not
to,
dying.
It's funny to watch her trying to keep up with the customers. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Trying to light their cigars or the cigarettes was
That was great.
futile.
But he just
Yeah.
fell over because
He's
he
afraid
couldn't
of the fire.
handle it. Yeah.
Because they don't like light.
No.
No.
We're going to jump in the Wayback Machine to when, prior to the kitchen scene, when Billy's mom was first listening to them upstairs.
Who?
Billy's mother.
There you go.
Kitty pointed out to me that it was pretty much broad daylight when we started in that scene, and the gremlins were still running around the house okay. And then by the time she walked into the living room, it was full on pitch black.
Oh, the gremlins run around the fully lit kitchen too.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
They don't seem to mind
never
the
noticed
bright
that
light as
before.
much until they do.
Maybe it's the type of light, so either direct sunlight or flash from like a camera that bugs them.
Yeah, I think that they just
And
didn't think
fire.
about it when they filmed it.
Yeah.
Because that kitchen was well lit and they're running around like mad. And it comes out of the Christmas tree because it's a Christmas movie.
Of course, this is full on a Christmas
100%.
movie. This isn't a Die Hard, is it Christmas, is it not? This
Die
is a
Hard
Christmas
is 100% a Christmas movie, but this is also 100% a Christmas movie.
Right. I don't disagree. I haven't been watching it on Christmas, though. I think we should make that a tradition, Kitty.
I don't know if Fred can handle it.
Well, I didn't say Fred doesn't watch Die Hard with us.
I think she is.
Really?
Probably.
Good for her. Classic.
You were there? My daughter? I don't remember that. I remember John McClane was there.
Yep.
Holly was there. Hans Gruber was there.
For a second.
For a while. For a time.
For about 60 stories,
I love
60-second floors.
They didn't tell him that he was actually going to be falling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when they
So his
dropped him.
reaction is actually that it's a true reaction of him being terrified
I like
of dying.
the symbolism of detaching the handcuff that is his wife's watch from work to release her from the bonds of work and get her back into the kitchen where John McClane wanted her. That's how that movie ends.
See? That's that.
This is the Die Hard podcast.
Yeah,
And that's the kind of information I don't pick up.
yeah, that I didn't.
Oh, you didn't pick up the
Pick up.
watch thing?
No, I didn't. I didn't follow that.
He doesn't want her working there anymore, and he literally detaches her from the symbol of her job to save
See,
her and
I
bring the
mean-
family back together.
Well, he should have just moved and been a cop in California.
Yeah, he could have been Beverly Hills Cop. He could have
Yes.
gotten there first.
He could have hung out with the dad from crap.
Family Matters.
Yes, Lord Jesus.
I didn't see the watch thing because I was watching the thing that was the movie.
Hold for laughter.
Do you have a laugh track on there?
No. That is a laugh track, right? Brings out your laugh. So, like, that right there. I remember that. That makes the movie stick in my head. Does the soundtrack for Gremlins.
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
But does that make the longevity of a movie last? Like, I'm trying to think of the other horror movies or any movie that has like a John Williams score or something, like the
Yep.
music.
The Jaws theme.
Yep, Jaws.
The Exorcist Tubular Bells. The Psycho theme has been ripped off for 50 years or 60 years.
Well,
since
what's
then.
the like Friday the 13th?
Oh, the ch-ch-ch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
those kinds of things. It's music too.
Oh, even the Freddy has the piano. Do, 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 do. You know, I can't do it, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there. I
Yeah.
know exactly what
yeah,
you're
they all,
No, I don't.
the Omen had it too. The Jerry Goldsmith who did this, did that, and this has that
E.T.
ragtime almost, doesn't it? Kind of ragtimey the theme at times.
Yeah.
It is
It's great.
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
The music in here is really fun.
A lot of Christmas songs, and then a lot of joyous Gremlins music.
Right, I think I wrote down.
God, when they come to the door and they're caroling.
Oh yeah.
I like that she says, "Oh no, they've come for me." She knows how evil she is. She's actively like she knows it's her time. The demons are here. I'm going to hell.
That kind of makes her
She was
character
terrible.
worse.
She was horrible.
It makes her character worse.
She was like just comes in and is like, "I'm gonna murder your dog." Like, why?
That's the thing. When she said that, I'm like, is this a line just straight from "I'll get your my pretty and my little dog" too? That's the Wicked Witch, who has played the same character in Kansas. You know, she's playing. I think it's Elmira Gulch.
Who hates
I don't know why I
that
know
dog.
that, but I think it's Elmira Gulch is the name of the thing. Yeah, and she's going to get the dog. And then she does get the dog, and then Toto hops out of the basket because Toto's smarter than Mrs. Gulch is. Just like Barney. Although, to be fair, she says, "Your dog is a menace, and I'm going to have him put down." To which the dog then jumps up and attacks her. She's right.
Are you gonna
Well,
let
he's
someone
only
talk?
menacing certain people.
Well,
the
I'm not
rude
saying
ones.
his judgment is wrong. I'm just saying that if a dog does that, that's usually how that does end, yes.
If that trial ever came before me, and
You
I
think
was
it's a
sitting
trial?
judge, I would let that dog go.
So explain to me how you think it goes when a dog attacks somebody. What steps follow?
Is the okay in your head right now? You're a human judge. Is the jury
Judge
then?
Reinhold, please.
The
Yeah,
jury's
sure.
cats. He got a bad draw.
Or is it half dog, half human?
That's
And-
a werewolf.
It is a werewolf.
Is the defense a dog or a human? I just have a lot of questions for your. We're getting off track.
Well,
Gremlins.
I know, yeah.
I was all ready to try that case. Here we go.
Well, no, the judge is a kangaroo because it's a kangaroo court.
But I like that one.
hold
You
for
don't
Wow,
need to
you-
hold for laughter.
Hold for
That's
laughter.
Yeah.
solid.
Because animals.
Because animals.
During the bar scene, I don't know if you saw it, Kitty, or you, when he was at the tap drinking, and then his fat little stomach just fills up with beer
Why didn't he multiply into several more gremlins?
from the inside out.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
He would explode.
Why
Because they'd
didn't-
be popping off inside
Maybe
his
they
stomach.
did, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see, right?
And maybe that's why his stomach swelled. But it was a really great piece of, like, puppetry.
Yeah, but now I'm just concerned. I didn't think about the implications involved with every second they were drinking beer and spilling it on each other. That is a liquid.
Yeah.
Well, did he say water or
I guess
liquid?
maybe
He
it's just
said-
specifically just water,
Yeah.
I guess.
But they said don't let him get wet. Man, I wish I had listened.
Well,
when
the
he played
father
that
also said
thing.
don't even give him water to drink, but does he know to give him other things to drink?
Is it okay for a gremlin to have beer?
I just
I
assumed.
guess it must be.
Guys, let us know in the comments below.
There's a commercial recent commercial where Billy's back with Gizmo and he's drinking Mountain Dew. So I guess Mountain Dew's now is good enough too.
recent commercial.
Yeah, there's a commercial that came out in the last year.
So maybe there's a sugar content thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Why are we doing Gremlin stuff in whatever year this is?
Why wouldn't
Why are
we?
we doing Gremlin stuff? Whatever year this is.
All right, I know why we are because we really like it. But who's
Yeah.
bringing him as an
It's got
advertisement?
the new cartoon TV show on Max.
I do. That's a new one. The Secrets of the Mogwai.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like 2 years old.
No, I think it's not even done airing this season. The first
I
season.
thought that was from
Really?
1986, a couple of years after.
In before part 2.
I almost said
Before
it's
part two.
2014, so just now. When
No,
you
it's-
asked what
it's
year it is.
debuted weeks ago, and it's not even over yet. I don't think. It
Wow.
probably is when this comes. No, this comes out tomorrow, so it probably isn't over.
Is it supposed to be any good? I haven't heard.
I don't know.
All right. No Gremlins fan, you.
I'm a fan of Gremlins, not
Mogwai?
Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai.
They kind of remind me of Ewoks.
Maybe they'll answer some of these questions.
Like,
I guess they could. Yeah.
Like,
Is a
can they drink
Mogwai-
Mountain Dew and beer?
They're gonna. It's a period piece that's set before Gremlins, and they're gonna answer if he can drink Mountain Dew. I love it. Now, I believe that the one thing I've seen about the show is that he's called Gizmo on it, which makes no sense because he's named Gizmo by Rand in this movie. So that's why I haven't watched it, because I'm already upset with the timeline.
Maybe
do-
it was his name and he just popped it into
What a
Rand's
guess.
head.
How do we know it's not Gizmo?
I guess that's true.
Like,
Because he just comes home and he says, I've been calling him Gizmo.
Yeah, 'cause
so
he's
whatever
an inventor.
drive he was on with the thing, it could have been saying Gizmo
I guess
the
he could
entire
have,
time.
but
it's like a Yoda thing. He's 8,000 years old.
yeah, who knows how old he is? He
Right.
definitely looks like a Yoda.
He's got that vibe going. He's short. Like I
Big
said,
ears.
The ears.
I thought it was more of an Ewok thing, which makes me think that maybe a Mogwai is an Ewok, but like a baby one.
It's a cross between. It's a new species.
Right. But again, let's kill them all.
It's a Furby.
And again, it might be a Furby.
They actually did a good job cleaning up the town because the only thing that survives is Gizmo.
Hitler should take notes.
They didn't even leave the the tease at the end. That's like, oh, there's still a hatching over here, or something like that. Nope, they got them all. They all had to see Snow White, except for Stripe, who needed better candy.
Yes.
It's the only reason he wasn't there.
Well, I was wondering when the gremlin from the high school or this grade school ever joined the rest of it, because you didn't really see that one that well. And I was wondering if it ever joined up with the rest of the. I guess you have to assume it did because it cleaned up the town.
Well,
but
Snow White.
Yeah,
Was that Snow
was
White?
the draw. And they were singing along. Hi ho.
Hi ho.
Frank Welker's back.
You know, I think that movie. That movie did a really, really good job of drawing in a being child friendly and making it accessible to children, but also working for adults. Unlike, say, like the Phantom Menace, that one was so pandering to kids.
You shit on Star Wars now?
I am a little bit.
Oh, I love it.
I am a little bit because I'm mad at the Phantom Menace, but kids love it. But that panders too hard to the kids. Whereas Gremlins, everyone loves it. As a Kitty and I you remember all those scenes like Gizmo riding the car, all the fun ones. So kudos to this movie.
Yeah, the finale takes place in a department store, which gives them opportunity to have every kind of thing at their disposal, throwing saw blades, and Billy gets his he's the great gremlin murderer gets his ass beat by one gremlin.
Well, the Stripe is pretty tough.
Yeah.
He says 2 times. That's Stripe. He's their leader.
Stripe
Yeah.
was a bastard right out of the gate. Well, all the gremlins were kind of jerks.
No, he was definitely an asshole immediately.
Yes. He's the one that bit Pete.
Yeah. But the other ones were kind of dicks, pushing, Gizmo. Do you think that they all come out like the second generation is always just a little bit wrong, and that's the problem with them? Or just something wrong with Gizmo and he's got idiot children?
Sounds like something that's answered in Gremlins Secrets of the Mogwai. That one does sound like it's going to get covered.
I mean, it's clear from what the Asian guy says that they're not, or the kid says that they aren't supposed to touch water, right? They aren't. So, like, you wouldn't want more gremlins to happen. So it's happened before, and it was a bad result.
You don't know not to have water on them unless you've had water on them before. But that means that he can't be the only one of his kind either, because they know the sunlight thing for a reason.
Sounds
Right.
like that's answered in Secrets of the Mogwai.
But we really should have watched that.
It's not over yet.
And it's not on me to watch it. I thought it just was coming out now. You guys thought it was out for at least a decade.
I'm not Googling this. I
Maybe
refuse.
20 years. It's
Maybe
been a
20
while.
years.
I looked up the Nick Cage movie. He's an ex-Navy SEAL in that Red something movie.
Oh, Red Rock West.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage update. I'm going to call those knick-knack news.
I love it.
Anytime you want to just say something about Nicolas Cage.
All Cage.
That's the NCNN.
Yep.
That's if you ever do an episode.
Yep.
That's solely Nicolas Cage.
Well, that's always happening in my head.
One of my favorite moments was when Stripe is attacking Billy with a chainsaw, and then he just kind of pushes him off, but the chainsaw's still running, so it hits the floor and just drags him away.
I like that one. Why he doesn't let go of the chainsaw.
I know, it's so funny.
The cannonball into the pool as he's got his nose plugged. And he sings to
Yeah. They have real good personalities.
They are performers, every single one of them. They take such glee in what they do. When he shorts out the traffic lights, when he's just sitting there in the box, touching them, and he's got that little look of like,
He's
I hear
an
the
electrician because he also messed with the what's-her-face's chair.
crash. He's the
That's
best
right.
boy.
He's the.
Well, you can get to your Best Boy stuff. So I looked up
This
what
is
a
where
Best Boy
Pete's
actually
learned
is.
everything he knows about his job.
Well, I looked up what a Best Boy actually is.
The Gremlins.
It's the reason we get 2 sometimes is that the Best Boy is the assistant to either the gaffer, which I guess is an electrician.
That is Jim Gaffigan's cousin.
Yep. So you're a gaffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
guess
go
I
into the
would be.
microphone.
Sorry, I had to stop and think for a moment.
He's either assistant to the gaffer or the grip. So that's why this time we have 2. We have the electrical Best Boy and the grip Best Boy. So they had 2 Best Boys.
And it makes sense that they're assistants to the gaffers and etc. because the grip and the gaffer were also listed
Yes.
with the best boys.
So usually in movies, though, there might just be the one. So he's got to do both jobs. Now, there can't be 2 Best Boys, Pete.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I don't know where you're getting your information from. That's not even close to what an electrical Best Boy and a grip Best Boy is.
Okay.
Electrical Best Boy is the electrician, and the grip Best Boy is the guy who won all the arm wrestling contests.
In Over the Top.
No, on any set. That's the thing that happens on movie sets. There's arm wrestling competitions throughout the shoot.
And more importantly, there cannot be 2 Best Boys. Like Highlander, there can be only one. So we have to choose the Best Boy of 1984.
All of 1984?
Yes.
I'm going to go. Kitty, what do we do? Is this
What
on
were
me?
their
No,
names?
we're choosing between the 2.
I'm
What
going
were their
off.
names?
The electrical Best Boy was Ron Kenyon, and the grip Best Boy was Robert Miller.
Dude, they have the most boring names
I
ever.
looked up their history, though, to see who is deserving. Robert Miller didn't do almost anything else. He did this, and then he had some other bit jobs that aren't even grip jobs, that aren't even Best Boy jobs.
They weren't grip jobs?
He doesn't even...
You know what?
No,
I take
in
that
fact,
back.
I think they weren't. Because even though he's the grip Best Boy here, I think they weren't that. He's just like a sorted crew. The electrical Best Boy, though, has been an actual Best Boy in 1988's Oscar-winning Best Picture Rain Man. But that kind of makes him the Best Boy of 88, not 84. And the other guy has nothing else going on.
I'm sorry. I changed my mind. What the grip best... I got some new information I looked up while you were talking. The grip Best Boy is the
didn't.
best hand jobs on set. So that's how he got his name, or his award.
Well, I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
I don't know about anybody else. But
Is it the grip? Is it the grip Best Boy?
in light
Robert
of
Miller.
in light of some new information that's come to my attention, I'm ready to vote. I'm voting for Robert Miller.
Congratulations, Robert Miller.
Best boy of 1984.
Best script.
You know, there was also a boom man on this set.
I think there's always a boom man.
I've never seen somebody listed as the boom man.
I noticed that too, and I thought the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Usually
I
it's just
see
boom
that.
mic operator.
No, yeah, that's not a boom mic. It's just a boom man.
He's the boom man.
Yeah, he's the
I'd like
boom
to
man.
think he just pops into the scene and goes, boom.
Maybe explosions? I don't know. This guy sounds fun.
Unfortunately for the people of Kingston Falls, but I guess it works out for them, there's a giant fountain in the department store.
That reminds me of Kmart.
I was going to say, it seems weird, but then you think back to your childhood, the big department stores, they had everything.
Well, even in the
Including a
Galleria,
greenhouse, yeah.
Remember they had the Looney Tunes waterfall.
Yep.
The Galleria Mall, a mall
Yes.
setting. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's right.
But that was in the lawn and garden section, so it made sense.
Yes. Because that department store has everything, including better candy, which is why Stripe survives as long as he does.
Yeah, that's right at the entrance. You get the candy.
Yep.
I got nothing. I like that
Yeah.
you both looked at me. I'm just nodding along because I remember audio medium and
What
I like
happened,
to
was,
nod.
what happened was we had both said something, so we waited to see if you wanted to say anything.
I was just listening. It was a good conversation.
I totally checked out of a big part of the Best Boy conversation.
Boom man.
Good
But
job.
we know who
Marty.
the boom man of 1984 was, although we didn't write it down.
No, he's just the boom man. I like to think that it's just an identity, a superhero kind of
Yes,
situation.
boom man.
That's where I'm going with that.
I wish you could have all seen it. He got excited. He was going to say something, and then he looked at his notes,
Then dropped his head down really fast.
and he's like, "Don't look at me anymore. I got nothing."
I remembered, and then I completely forgot because you both looked at me all expectantly, and I didn't know what to do with myself.
Because you went like this. Oh.
I
Like-
popped my head up and slammed it back down. I gotcha. In the room, I saw a poster for the Twilight Zone movie, which was another Joe Dante movie.
Yeah,
when I was
he does
trying
a
to
scene. He
remember.
does a segment in that. They also were watching on the TV. They were watching the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
Yes.
so that they can do the famous part where he says, "You're next, you're next,"
Oh, that's where that was from.
which is reused in Scream 6 when the psychiatrist is watching it right before he dies, and the guy's yelling at him, "You're next, you're next."
No, I never watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but didn't they have people in those weird lumpy egg-shaped things?
I think so. Yeah.
So
pods,
like
yeah.
it also was a
It's
call
also
to
it's also a movie about metamorphosis.
yes.
Yep,
Franz Kafka.
And the pupils.
Franz.
that's right. There you go. You got it. This is me just saying
Franz.
George Orwell 3 times.
Does he appear after that?
He does.
He does. He's a very Beetlejuice situation going on. He comes in and tells us how horrible society is. If I remember my history or the present.
No,
Yes.
I don't believe that you do. I've heard about your understanding of history.
If you look in a mirror and say George Orwell 3 times, yeah, everybody tried that tonight. You'd be a busy guy.
He can't get us all if we all do it.
Well, we're in the same house.
What was it? Just for cheap thrills that people would summon anyone in the mirror?
Well, it was Bloody Mary when I was a kid, and then Candyman took it, but Candyman makes you do it 5 times. I don't do anything 5 times. 3 is about my limit. If Beetlejuice was 3, that's the amount.
What did you think of the movie, Kitty?
Beetlejuice is coming back, but not until I say it 2 more times.
What? You already asked me.
No, I mean overall. Now I asked you that.
I thought the beginning was really slow.
What?
It took a long time.
You
for
get
the movie
bank
to-
stuff? You get...
Right, possibly because like everything that's random but non-eventful.
Uneventful. You get 20 minutes where you're pretty sure Judge Reinhold's going to be a major character in this movie. Followed by Corey Feldman, who also is not a major character in this movie.
Well, that
Yeah.
you see,
and then a teacher who is not a major character in this movie.
well, that was all first act characters, and the second act was all completely different people.
I said this movie was written by Chris Columbus. Was the first half written by someone else? Because it takes completely different characters into account.
See? Yes. It must have been.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think the music is what keeps it going for me, where I'm just into the whole. Plus, Kingston Falls just looks so, I don't know, picturesque or whatever you want to say. I love the way the movie looks and the way the movie sounds. So I'm fine with it. But I did notice that last night. I'm like, all of these scenes have nothing to do with anything that's going to happen in this movie.
Right. And
Because even Mrs. Deagle doesn't come back for the dog. It's like,
No.
it does, none of this pays off. It's a
She-
bunch of setups that get then well, maybe that's the point. Here's small town life completely disrupted to the point where we don't even see the payoffs to it.
That's true.
Maybe I'm giving it too much
I was
credit.
waiting for the guy at the bank that she kept cutting to like fuck her up because she was so rude. But
No, it's the Gremlins' job. You get yours, and that's
Look, for example, the payoff to the story of the woman who's begging Mrs. Deagle to give her a break because her family can't eat on Christmas
that's
is,
an Act 1 problem.
guess you're starving.
yeah, exactly.
Well, no,
And
I guess actually her problem gets solved.
her problem solved. She
Yeah.
has at least another month before
No,
she has to worry
yeah,
about
exactly. Mrs.
things.
Deagle's dead.
Yeah,
That was a hell of a death.
it was. I wish it had been like worse things had happened to her aside from her freaking out and then flying out of a.
That fly out the window is hilarious.
And then you just see her slippers.
It's a great stunt.
That one.
They take it all the way to the ground too. They get all the way to the thump, and they cut away right at the thump.
Oh, and they show her. with
Yeah.
the
They
feet
show
sticking
her,
over the
yeah.
top.
Yep.
Yeah, but then as soon as, things start happening, it's really, it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun.
Where does it sit in the rankings? Because I'm trying to, like, that death scene, for instance, is that an iconic death scene?
Mrs. Deagle?
Yeah, shooting up the stairs. That stuck out to me. I remember that as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like the Johnny Depp getting sucked into the bed,
Yeah.
things like that.
Oh.
Like, is this one of those scenes that is known? Is Gremlins seen as a horror movie, really? Is this a poltergeist thing?
No, it is very much a poltergeist thing.
It's not high enough.
It's seen as, I think it's like accepted as comedy horror, but it never makes the lists of those. I don't think it's seen by people when they're making those lists like that. Like I told you,
Possibly because it's so PG-13.
yeah, I think that might be it. Like they're just, it's horror comedy obviously, but I think they just go for like the horror deaths, like the violent, bloody stuff, like being
Okay.
sucked into a bed and blood everywhere. It's a bloodless movie,
Aside from the gremlin blood.
and it's
guts.
done for fun.
Well, and the people getting scratched.
Because I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
The scratches. Right. I know. I'm just trying to figure out where it fits into the context, I guess, as a whole.
Fits in right before Gremlins 2, The New Batch.
So I think it would fall on a scale with like Monster Squad, right?
Yeah.
If you were to make one of those scales
Yeah, it's
for
a gateway horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gateway horror movie that younger people that are interested in horror can watch before they watch.
That's a really good gateway horror movie.
It's great.
'cause
That's what
those
got me into it.
monsters are, yeah.
And like Tremors even. I would put it in there with that.
Monster movies, I think, are a general safe way to get someone into horror. Because Sam, our kid, likes, in case you didn't remember who our
I
kid
don't
is,
know.
Kitty.
What does he like?
He likes
Have we
Godzilla
mentioned
and King
before?
Kong.
And
That's what he likes.
Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah, but it's the monsters. That's what he is drawn to. And I guess zombies are sort of a monster, as long as you go for the non-violent ones if your child's too young.
And Gremlins are a monster.
All right. So you know what? I think monsters are a good gateway.
Monsters are a good gateway. Monsters are the gateway drug.
And all I have is, with you guys keep saying gateway, is gateway drugs. It's like all I could think
That's
and
what I was
kept
going
saying the
for.
same word.
No, Mr. Wing comes back and says, "Yeah, you weren't ready for this." And then he finds that the Mogwai, their Gizmo, has bonded with Billy, and he's like, "Maybe one day." In what world is anything that transpired tell them that maybe one day he could handle hanging with them?
I think because the Mogwai had a bond, and this old guy knows he only got so long, and clearly his grandkid is not up to snuff because he's selling it the first chance he gets.
No, his grandkid cannot be allowed.
His grandkid has a good grasp of reality because he's like, we need the money. Like, clearly they're not doing that well.
At what cost?
Well, true. No, like, that's fair. But there's a lot of other stuff that he can go out and sell.
Yeah.
I like that he threw the $200 back on the couch too. He was like, "Pah!" But he
Like, I would have kept it.
so disdainful.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we'll see Mr. Wing again briefly.
In part 2.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
So he's kind of right. He didn't last forever, and Billy does end up with him.
He wasn't right. You're the one who presented that. Now you're saying it's
You
right.
presented that.
No.
Oh, he presented.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we're saying I'm right.
No.
I'm all right with that.
Well,
Well, I don't know if you've seen Gremlins 2, Pete, but Billy was not prepared to handle
Oh, he was
having
totally
a Mogwai again.
They contained it to one building this time. It wasn't a whole town.
It's true, but it's
That's-
a big building.
Yeah, but a town is a little bit bigger.
Was Kingston Falls bigger than... I bet there was less people in Kingston Falls than there was in that building.
Just spread out more, huh?
Yeah,
I see what
I
you're
mean-
saying. That is a New York skyscraper in, 1980 something?
1990.
1990? That's when Gremlins 2 came out?
yeah, so it's stuffed full of people.
Oh, it's chock full of people. There's
Probably beyond
Is there a third way to say it?
capacity.
Stuff full of people, chock full of people.
like sardines in a can in that building
Of people.
God.
of people.
Okay. Moving
Regular
on.
ship of fools.
Any other thoughts on Gremlins?
It's a turn up for a book. But
Turn
that'll
up?
turn up in a book.
Turn up for what?
Will John?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope,
Oh,
that was
boy.
Gremlin way of saying it.
Boy, Frank Welker just pop in and all.
Is he hiding somewhere down here?
He's really good at throwing his voice too. You don't know that.
Yeah.
He records most of Scooby-Doo from his living room.
That's how I do most of my stalking of people from my living room. I just sit there and I wonder what that person's doing right now. Nick Cage, probably something fun.
What do you think Judge
Yeah.
Reinhold's character is doing today? 40 years on. Is he running that bank? He
I
probably
think
is.
he made manager.
Yeah. Well, he said he'd make it by 2
25.
years. Yeah.
I think he's a dog judge.
That's what I want to do when into animal court.
That was the obvious judge of animal court. Yeah, you never explained to me how the trial goes when a dog attacks somebody that
Well, I assume the lady wants to press charges. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't want a dog,
so she has to hire a lawyer and she hires the cat.
I don't know.
Possibly.
Am I making it too silly for you?
No, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's human lawyers. You can bring whoever you want to this.
I think we should call Judge Reinhold and find out.
But everyone gets his day in court. Every dog gets his day.
Every dog has his day.
Yeah.
That's what that saying means.
That's exactly what that means. And then I would, again, side with the dog. Case dismissed.
But we just decided
Not
Judge
act.
Reinhold's deciding, and he seems like a mean guy that doesn't want that dog around.
Play back the tape. I'm Judge Reinhold. I think I demanded to be called that at the beginning. In fact, I know I demanded to. I don't think I know. These are the things I know.
I know, these are the things I know.
She knows it too, apparently.
Frank Welker can sing.
I did not sing that in the Frank Welker voice.
Frank Welker can do any voice.
All right. I have run out of notes, except the name of that Gremlin song is Mega Madness.
That's cool.
And it fits that song very well.
Were your only notes, if I'm following along, about the best boy?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a loud laugh. Sorry, guys.
Oh, hey, I wrote this down. Ready? Toothpaste is good for prison. It provides cavity protection.
Why are you laughing? Stop laughing.
Because the cavity
It's not funny.
is the butthole.
I know, but it's still not funny.
I thought of that when I was brushing my teeth because I was reading the toothpaste.
I can't believe you give that one away for free.
It's on my Gremlins notes.
Why? Oh, because the dad always has the thing squirting toothpaste at him.
Maybe.
Almost every one of his inventions is kind of cool if it worked.
But the bathroom buddy was ginormous.
It was too big. Unless you consider that, like, that's all you have to take then, instead of, like, packing all this stuff, is just, like, throw that brick in your bag.
I think it was pretty much true to size for the 1980s when you consider the size of cell phones at that time.
It's not a walking around thing. It's a
Yeah.
throw it in my carry-on and then have it when I get to the,
Right.
yeah, so I think that's fine. But all of his little things are, like, the egg cracker, the juicer, like, none of it works, but it's all like, this is pretty good.
Apparently it worked for a little while.
Yeah, they all worked for a couple
It
weeks
worked
and
for a few
stuff.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt that's true.
I like the convention again with the time machine, the robot that was making a phone call
Yeah.
behind him. There was a lot of stuff going on. So maybe his machines weren't quite that bad.
This is one of the most supportive wives I've ever seen in a movie.
Or real life.
Because they make it very clear from the beginning, the father brings home no money.
Yeah,
That Billy is
absolutely.
supporting this family.
I honestly forgot about that they made that clear. There is
They say that when he gets to the bank.
Yeah.
I know, I remember now, but I forgot then. I
You
remember
forgot
now.
I just want
That's
to
how
go back to
remembering
that.
works. Yeah. That's just the standard way remembering goes.
Going back to all those adventures or
You
inventions.
remembered at some point, and now you've remembered.
With the inventions, it was always funny to see Billy before he tried to operate them.
He's so
He's just
scared.
like,
I like to when the juicer's going to go off on him, and he said he just like resigned to it, just puts his face right in it, so that it gets him as good as we can.
There was a lot of that comedy mixed with a lot of destitute people who were just sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kingston Falls is
not doing well.
Some
No.
people open their wrists.
yeah, some people are opening their wrists. Mrs. Deagle seems to have like a chokehold on that town. So maybe they'll all be better off now because the Gremlins came and murdered her.
I kind of
Yeah.
got that vibe from the movie.
That
Like,
one woman will be for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Gremlins were almost liberators from the technology that is running our lives and making it a corporate police state.
She's the worst kind of evil person because she's witty. Because when the woman's like, come on, it's Christmas, and she just turns all the way around to face her and goes, now you know what to ask for. Like, fuck, man. I can't take being beaten down by you and being outwitted.
There was the guy at the beginning when she's walking to the bank at the very first introduction of her, and whatever he says to her, she responds. She goes, "Ooh!" She was so mean to him.
Was that Frank Welker telling?
He was the guy with the mail too, right? He was trying to put things in the letterbox.
I think it was the reverend or the priest or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He was just confused by it. He was like, huh.
Yeah, so Mrs. Deagle was the big evil, but then the bigger evil came and took her out.
I don't think they were the bigger evil. I think they were liberators.
They were liberators. And then they were massacred by the Peltzer family.
Who are lackeys for the corpse, for big business.
How about that effect where they hung the dog up? It was so clearly a stuffed animal that it's a different breed of dog. Between pulling it off and it licking his face.
See, no, I didn't even notice that.
It looks good. The wide shot looks good, but it's when he's pulling it down, like unhooking him, that it's just clearly a stuffed animal, to the point where you look at his face, and then the next shot, he's like not. They kind of made him wet because it was supposed to be outside. The dog's just dry licking his face, and I'm like, it's not even the same breed of dog.
I thought when they were in the department store with the stuffed animals, I swear to God that his head was there, and you were just meant to notice it in the back.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
I
No,
know.
no.
See, I remember
It's a
that
Mandela
too.
effect.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
All right, so it's not just because I swear.
No, it was panning over. Like, oh, this is the part where his face is just going to be there. And
So
it
what
wasn't.
movie is it from then?
E.T.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen E.T. in
E.T.
forever.
Yeah. I haven't either. But
And from like every movie since, I guess. Because it is a missed opportunity, because it's always great.
at the end too, when they're taking Gizmo's temperature, that made no sense because I don't.
They don't know what his temperature is supposed to run
I don't
at.
know what his normal body temperature is supposed to be.
That's the first time they've shown any interest.
I've never thought of that in my life.
The entire movie, they give zero interest at all in what this thing is. Like, oh, we better see what temperature it's at.
I've never thought of that before. They have nothing to compare it to.
Like, I guess he's okay. Like,
Well, it's a gizmo.
yes,
Nope.
Gizmo temp.
All right.
All right.
I think I'm about out. That was my really fun time watching Gremlins.
It was a
with
lot
Kitty.
of fun.
Yeah, I think we could probably talk about bits and pieces of this movie for all the fun little bits that happened.
Everything in the
Yeah.
bar scene. Anytime
Yeah.
the Gremlins are on scene.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
It's
I'd
watching.
like to talk more about how they liberated Kingston Falls. They attack the horrible woman. They attack the racist guy who's clearly not treating his wife well, Mrs. Futterman. They don't attack Judge Reinhold though.
No, well.
They might.
They are in the bank. You see him briefly in the bank when reacting to all the chaos. But like, I needed a scene where they like tie him to a railroad track or something.
But they took down the electronics, so any cameras. They took out the police.
And they just wanted to
They
watch
took
Snow
out-
White.
That's all they wanted?
Well, so they didn't take down all the electronics.
Well, just
Oh
enough
no,
to
it was
keep
reel
them
to
running.
reel, right?
They
So-
were in charge. Clearly, they knew what to do. So they were here to free us from big
the
government.
constraints of society.
They attack banks.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
They
what I'm
attacked
saying.
everything.
Liberators.
They didn't attack the movie theater. They didn't attack the bar. They were just partying. That's how I party in
I'm
movie
gonna-
theaters and
Okay,
bars.
well they trashed everything.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
You
What are
could
you
say
gonna
that.
do? They have bad manners. What are you gonna do? Liberators can't be all spit and polish.
And we didn't talk about this. Gizmo saves the day by setting the light in.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he actually is the hero of the story.
That's another. Yeah, Billy didn't do anything.
He's also
We got beat up.
A lot and well.
he's also the only Mogwai who knows I don't want to eat after midnight. I don't want to screw up these rules.
That's why I'm wondering
Yeah.
if there's something wrong with the other, like the second
Yeah.
generation of Mogwai.
Well, they want to be gremlins. I think that's more interesting than them being like,
Fluffy.
dumber or something. I like that he's the one who's like, I know what comes. I don't want to end up a gremlin. They're all like, I can't wait to be a gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why though? Why do they want? They can't wait to.
Because they love chaos.
Yeah, they love chaos.
And he doesn't though. What makes him different? His temperature. He said it is temperature.
Yeah, we'll never know because I didn't
No.
see the results of that
Yeah.
thermometer.
And no one bothered to stick a thermometer in one of the other ones.
Maybe because Mr. Wing raised him really well, whereas the other ones have they just
Corey
pop out.
Feldman and Billy as their parents.
They have
as
Corey
their
Feldman.
dads.
And Billy. Yeah,
My two
there's
dads.
something inappropriate about it. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but I know it's there.
Is this where the sitcom My Two Dads came from? I think I'm right.
Yeah.
You don't even have words.
I'm right. Okay.
I couldn't remember her name. If I
can't
could remember the actress's name, I was going to say that she played Gizmo. Stacey Keenan? Does that sound
That's
right?
pretty good.
If that's right.
Stacy Keach.
No, that's a guy.
His name's Stacy.
Yeah. I know his mom.
She's really got it going on.
Which apes the video for the part of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, starting with Judge Reinhold and Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates, awesome.
Nodding my head in
Yeah.
agreement.
Zach Galligan, good in it, but he's clearly just like a B-movie actor. But this had some like good actors in it that just weren't. He's good.
It just struck me. He looked like the Zach that we actually know.
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
That is true. Who is also a puppeteer.
yes.
He does.
There
look-
was so many parts of this where I was like, Zach must love this movie.
and his name is Zach.
Right.
Interesting.
Wow. We cracked it.
There's a lot of things. What's Zach? How old is Zach? Is this a Keanu Reeves vampire immortal thing?
He's probably like 30 now, at least.
Yeah, I think
he's older.
I think he's much older than that.
35.
2.
No, he's older than John. How old is my brother?
24.
85.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland. Okay.
Nice.
Kevin
Tony Almeida,
Bacon.
CTU.
Back in action.
Paul
Tunes.
Rudd.
Listing immortal Hollywood stars.
Yes.
Keanu Reeves.
Dick
Oh,
Clark.
yeah.
Is he dead?
Yes.
I'm
Is this
pretty
gonna be-
sure he died.
I don't really care. I was really sad when I found out Wilford Brimley died, which was on
Yeah.
one of the.
You're still
podcasts.
carrying that with you after 2 weeks?
That weight is up there, man. So, but Dick Clark, I think he kind of assumed he died a long time ago, and they just
Probably.
kept trotting him out on New Year's to do that countdown thing. I haven't watched the New Year's in a long
Yeah.
time.
The last countdown that I remember.
The final countdown.
Yeah, the final countdown. He couldn't count down from 10 anymore. I know what the source was. I just kept
No,
going.
it's just his face. He still can't stand listening to the song.
Fred has discovered that song. I think I played it for her because it was funny to me, and now she won't stop playing it. It takes like a minute and a half for
This has
any
been going on
words
for
to
a month.
start.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, it's.
Car rides are interminable. Because I
I
hear
mean,
that.
she plays the same 5 songs over and over and over again.
So there's a lot of Taylor Swift in the mix.
Oh, what are you
And Lady
complaining
Gaga.
about?
I'm not. I'm complaining about the final countdown.
That's true. That is true. To be fair, you named some other artists and didn't say anything bad about that. Then you
Yeah.
said the final countdown. Ugh.
There's
That-
Queen lately because they know I like Queen.
That is a list of what goes
Latifah?
on.
Yeah. No. Freddie Mercury.
I got nowhere to go with Queen Latifah. She was in Living Single.
Wasn't she in some other movie?
She was in a movie with Steve Martin, but I don't remember the name of the movie. Bringing Down the House or something.
I think that was it.
I guess I did remember.
That's how memory
David
works.
Byrne.
David Byrne, Stop Making Sense, 1984. Coming out in theaters
You
again.
made it back.
I made it back to
Finally.
back in time. Oh no, I'm gone again.
Okay.
All right.
I'm like looking around for some how to exit.
Let's say
Okay.
goodbye to everybody. Go watch Gremlins. If
Oh
you
yeah,
haven't
we
seen
didn't
it.
plug anything on next week's podcast.
Next day.
I'm going to plug Zach, who did, at one point, there's a video of him doing Muppet voices, and he's a flight attendant, and you can look that
On
up
Southwest Air.
on Southwest.
It was
It's 1984. We call them stewardesses.
boys can't be stewardesses.
Boy stewardess.
What? What are these things you talk of?
He was a steward.
Yes.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. What in his folly?
Oh, you two have anything
Alaska.
to plug? You don't have anything to plug.
Oh, I don't
Hair.
know.
Ryan,
We're on stuff.
we're on stuff.
If you're listening to this, you've already found it.
Instagram,
That's all you
Facebook.
really need to know.
That's really right. I feel
Congratulations.
I feel like not plugging the website because it's nothing like this. Like, so if you like this and you're like, oh, I'm gonna check out that website, you're gonna be woefully disappointed.
Don't do that.
And if you like the website, you're probably not gonna like this. So I don't know what.
Why
to
are
do.
you even listening now? You would never hear this part.
So I don't know what to do.
You'd
It's
have turned it off already.
two different worlds.
But anyway, for horror movie reviews, go to horrorvirgin.com. For absolute nonsense, listen to this.
Horrorvirgin.com. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different.
Oh, well,
Scarevalue.com.
this is,
I just accidentally plugged an entire other podcast.
Free plugs going on over here.
just remember when you hear this, I had the ability to edit that out and I didn't.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
No, because it's funny. But
not funny.
that's
And
she
that's
meant
all.
it. She's like,
No.
if you want horror reviews, go to horrorvirgin.com.
Which is not a thing.
And if you like
Or it might be. I have no
dummies
idea.
doing dumb shit, listen to my husband and his stupid friend in my basement. Right here on Scare Value Podcast.
.com.
.org.
End it here.
We're owned by the government.
Bye.
Gremlins.